What's up? What's up? We are back again. I don't know how much trading we're really going to do. Let me just get myself situated. Just got back from the gym. I rushed home because I wanted to do a little power hour stream and hang out with everybody. See if anybody can come chill out. So I don't really plan, like I said, I really don't plan on taking much trades. I'm just kind of here to hang out and see if anybody wants to join in on the fun, join in on the action. So much trades. Oh, sorry. I was just pulling up the stream so that way I can monitor the chat. Um, 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 uh. So yeah, we had a difficult morning. If you tuned into the stream from the morning, that was a real pain. We pulled out a great trade on the 5-minute inversion here. Got short after it rejected the top end and pulled it way down all the way into the lows. Obviously, it was it was a really difficult day on top of that. Happy to be even, put it that way. So now it's a question of whether or not the low of the day is in. I'm not sure. We have midnight here. We have these nice equal highs all over. They're SMT highs though. So if we do turn around, that would probably be a target. Actually, it was barely took. So they're relative equals. We'll just keep an eye on it. You can see we're bumping up against the regular trading hours gap. That's what I have here. Whatever. Up on the chart in orange. Those orange fibs are the regular trading hours gaps. I'm just going to notify the Discord that I'm live if they want to come hang out. So yeah, what a day. I mean, I don't know if everybody else is rinsed today. It was just a little weird. If you look at the chart, you're like, well, what was so difficult about today? I spent a lot of time on the second time frames and in the microstructure. If you take a huge zoom out on today's action, what we have today was actually something that I like. It's actually a great display of SMT inception. So something that I like to, or something that I've noticed is, and there's one trade in the live stream that kind of cues off of it, but I should have in the moment realized this. So what you have is ES comes out and takes the last week's high, okay? NQ takes out a 4-hour swing, but not last week's high. Let's move to the lower time frames now. So we move to a 5-minute time frame. Keep in mind, ES was the stronger pair on the higher time frames. Now when we move to a lower time frame pair, or to the same pair, lower time frame, what do we see? NQ presents as the stronger pair because it left a liquidity target, right? Which is that 4-hour swing, it came up, made equals, swept that. But ES becomes the weaker pair, right? So it comes from stronger pair to weaker, weaker to stronger, and what precedes expansion? SMT inception. And after we get the SMT inception, we get the expansion to the downside. So yeah, so that was really cool. It should have been a little bit more obvious to me at the time. I do kind of like kick myself for that. But I was kind of just shook after, I mean, the type of L's I was taking today were, oh my God, absolutely gross. So yeah, it's a power hour stream. I don't really think we're going to do too much trading here. I do have the kick around account up and ready to go if we do see something. But again, I'm not really too keen on the action. I don't think we have earnings today. I will check. What's Dow been doing? Let's just make this that. Okay, wow. So the draw for Dow is obviously going to be lower into this gap. That's going to pull everybody else lower. I don't think that there's really much for me to do. I'm kind of late to the party on every other time frame as far as an entry goes. And we're just moving right into these balanced price range. ES moving into a balanced price range right by midnight. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Dow creating SMT on the lows. Old new day opening gap. What do we got here? What's this 50% of? 50% of this 15-minute impulse leg. You can see we're kind of working off of it to the downside. You can see NQ actually respected that impulse leg nicely on the 15-minute. You can see we kind of dug down into the impulse range from here to here, turned around, had a nice retracement. Now I would definitely look to see how we react around that level. And again, I'm always kind of looking at my other time frames on my laptop. I have a laptop to my left that I have open with trading view charts. I typically like to keep those charts at the higher time frames, like 15-minute to an hour, 5-minute. Sometimes I'll move to a 1-minute if I feel like there's discrepancies between the MNQ contract and the full-sized, or excuse me, the mini contract, which is just NQ. So yeah, hoping that some people come around and we could all hang out for power hour together. I understand that there's a lot of other streamers that I think people like to watch during the AM session. That's really the predominant time that I stream is the AM session. I don't believe I'll be streaming a whole bunch of the PM session, um, going forward. But when I can, I definitely will hop on and hang out with everybody. It's definitely fun. And yesterday we had a really good time with a lot of people into the chat, so that was cool. Yeah, so kind of looking to see if we can kind of get the same thing moving today. Dow wants to move lower. All right, I wanted to check who had earnings today, if any, in the tech sector. I don't believe so, but I will double check just because if there is going to be some sort of tech earnings, probably not going to get a lot of follow through on the downside or really any side for that matter. Let's see, earnings whispers on X. If you guys aren't following, it's a solid follow. Just they always have the earnings calendar, so super easy. Wednesday, IBM, sorta. Sands Las Vegas will be interesting to see how much that should give us a look into disposable income, depending how the casinos are doing, right? Something worth noting. So we're moving down, Dow's moving into that target, and Q also moving into the balanced price range. ES moving into midnight. So what I'm wondering here is clearly we have a reversal up here with ES on the hourly. NQ did not really confirm that hourly the same way ES confirmed the hourly change in state of delivery. You can see we both moved up into the hourly fair value gap though, and we're now rejecting. So depending how this hourly candle closes, I'm definitely would be interested to see how we react really. If we do rocket back up, I'm thinking NQ will probably want to run for, again, these highs. There's so many still equal highs on NQ side for previous week. We may just, but again, I'm going to kind of base my decisions off of how NQ wants to close this hourly range and if it wants to give us the change in state of delivery or not. Starting to bounce a little bit. I will throw up a little poll in the YouTube real quick just to. I wonder if can I do that from OBS? Can I do that? No, it says sign into chat. I don't really feel like doing that because I don't want to ruin OBS. It took me forever just to figure out how to stream. Hi, YouTube. NQ cutting through that equilibrium, like that impulse range EQ, which is definitely important to note. How do you do today? Bro's back for round two. What's up, Luca? I don't know if I'm back for round two. I'm definitely back to hang out, though. I was just explaining to the camera. Um, I figured, a lot of people don't really show up in the AM session, but we get a lot of more viewership in the PM session. So happy to come and hang out, man. See what's going on with everybody. It was fun what we did yesterday. I mean, obviously, I don't really plan on punting away an account today. I've already been through the ringer, as you remember. How about that stream, dude? What a crazy, crazy day. How you doing, man? What are you up to? You done for the day, or like you still stalking the charts? My trading is frozen, which sucks. Okay, that's good. Come on. On my laptop, I gotta restart my trading view. It's annoying. Fly blind for a little bit. Okay, my trading view is just broken. Will it work? Did that fix it? Nope. So again, I'm looking at the impulse EQ here on the 15 to give me some sort of clarity. Why not, man? There's no harm in spectating. I'm just waiting for a setup. I'll only take the setup. I'll only take an A plus. Just been a mini golf. Force myself off the charts. Yeah, mini golf is tight. Mini golf is a good way to get out. I took the liberty of going to the gym real quick. I do like how we moved up into here for a short. Also within that 1 minute fair value gap, just left it. It could be a quick little scalp to these lows. We could just watch it. We can let it pass by as I get my trading view recalibrated on my laptop. So what's interesting is no ES did not move into the regular trading hours gap. Like obviously that opens at 9:30. This is all London session, so all this action here does not exist. So it really seems like it may want to run at least into the midpoint here, and then quite possibly into these equal lows to play catch up into the new day opening gap with the Dow. And so for ES, the equivalent to the impulse range EQ on that 15-minute would be midnight opening price, right? My narrative was opposite today. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you were wrong, man. I think, like I said, so in the chat, I did mention, that the targets were like previous day or previous week's highs. It's a coin flip from there, like all you can really do, man, is target those previous week highs and then see what happens after that. We happen to reverse today. I think that's healthy for the weekly profile. If it's going to, continue moving up later in the week, I think it's healthy that we did what we did today, as the day to do it. That might be a short on the 15-second divergence into these lows. My trading is finally back up. I'm a little late to it. Do I have it marked out? Yeah. So we'll see. I am hesitant towards this wickless candle and this gap. It may want to fix that. Keep an eye on the higher time frame charts as well here. Don't want to get into any trouble. So we're a bit out of whack here. I'm wondering if that's the same gap. I'm going to zoom out for a second and sacrifice if we get the entry. Yeah. Hard to not believe that this one's going to sell back down. It's not being tagged in yet. It may not tag me in at all. In fact, I'd rather it tag me in up here or something at this point. What I did was I highlighted an old 3-minute bearish fair value gap. You can see we kind of rejected right off the top of it. Oh, came very close to taking me in there. I'm not going to move the entry. If we don't get it, we don't get it. You know what I mean? It'll be what it'll be. Happy to call one out, though. Okay, so we got tagged in there. We did leave some equals up on the top side, but that's S&T with NQ. I don't know if it's necessarily turtle soup, Luca. I'm gonna throw up the stop because we're getting some weird, crazy action. It's 3:30. That's why. So good move up on into the midnight opening price for ES. It'd be nice if we could reject here. This would be turtle soup, Luca. If you saw that NQ did not take the high and ES was above the high, you could sell that high. That would be your turtle soup trade. SMT, I think, is the key to mastering good turtle soup trades. I don't take them very often, but they all revolve around SMT. Just going to measure out the midpoint of this little impulse leg here. Like I said, it's hard to believe that we're not going to come down and take these lows at, you know, if ES, you could take a look. It's hard to believe that we wouldn't take these. So it's worth taking a little snipe at. We're only going to do a couple, you know, contracts with the kick around account. Turtle soup, you're saying, Luca? I mean, it's the best RR trades, you know. I could be totally in trouble here. All right, took me to correct at these highs. One to 16 regularly. Yeah. Hey man, all the power to him if he's got it, you know. That's not a bad way to trade. I'm gonna watch NQ into the 5-minute fair value gap up here. Oh, just accidentally moved that whole thing. If it even chooses to go there, we have the top quarter of that regular trading hours gap. See, we're gonna have a lot of overlapping gaps here. If it chooses to go in there, then it'll be cool. And we could look for some sort of lower time frame execution. But maybe we won't. All right. Seems like so there's a possibility that it may leave that alone, that 5 minute gap alone, because of ES moved into its respective high. We'll try chill because this is technically a breaker. If we could reclaim, if we could invert the breaker, then it might be a decent setup. Do have SMT with the Dow, so it could just run away here to the upside, but I have a hard time believing that. And what I meant by like ES took its respective high is this is the respective high for that 5 minute gap. So NQ doesn't necessarily have to enter into it just because it exists. So using that old SMT low as resistance, that's pretty strong. I think I'm going to try that. It's pretty uncanny that it chooses that low as its resistance low. 15-minute chart, obviously we have this imbalance above. But I do find that interesting how it uses that low to the tick. We'll throw this stop up there. Maybe the 5 minutes breakaway gap. And we'll just look for something around there. 15, almost immediate rebalance on that 15-minute chart. I'm going to start looking left here, left and lower, to see what exactly I can target that makes sense. I think I'm in the right spot for targeting maybe this fair value gap, although we've already entered into there, so this low becomes the next kind of sensible target. 3-minute getting shoved as well, pretty much right at the midpoint of this old 3-minute bearish gap. And also we have the 15-minute EQ up here. Solid short. Let's just see if we can let this one run out a little bit. I'll move the stop to even. Definitely won't lose on the trade. And the goal here is I may hold to try to see, you know, until ES maybe wants to move into this midpoint of its regular trading hours gap. And Q just took that low, so that's cool. Yeah, beans, I did, brother. This is a different account though, Tim. This is like my kick around account. Maybe NQ to midnight. That's a great dump there. Solid trade. I really do think that ES needs to go down lower. It would be crazy if it leaves the low there, but I wouldn't say I haven't seen that before. I'm gonna move the stop up right above here. If I get ticked out and have to tilt again, then you know we'll just make another YouTube short about it. But I think I'm hoping that this imbalance holds us through till ES wants to get down into the you know, what do you call it? Get down into the midpoint of its new week, or excuse me, regular trading hours gap down here. And again, I have an eye on that to my left. I'm sorry, I can't build up both of the screens. I don't like how we're holding bodies into here. Probably gonna take my stop right into the imbalance. Will it tick me out? Don't do it. All right. So what? So yeah, so nice little trade down there. The whole narrative was no, I'm telling you, watch incoming, another YouTube short incoming. That would be so funny. But this one I kind of knew and I'm okay with. I'm kind of over like tilting over it today. It's such a ridiculous day. It's got to be pretty funny at this point. And I know like you're wondering, well, why didn't you just hold it if you kind of knew it was going to go down? Well, I don't. I don't. I have a good idea of where it's going to go, but I never know for sure. So, I'm not going to, and I'm also not going to get wrecked today. Like, and even in the kick around account, I refuse to accept it. I've avoided death today already. I'm definitely not, I'm not going to be quick to throw myself back to the wolves. Like, it makes zero sense. Anyway, why did I take the short here? This 15-minute down leg, this was the stronger leg, right? Okay, this was the original support at London, like London lunch maybe. London lunch is like 4 or 5 o'clock, I think, right? So London lunch, totally sick. Look at this move. London lunch is what created this SMT between ES and NQ. I refuse to put myself under that kind of stress today. Yeah, man. Like I feel like I've burnt enough mental capital today to feel like I really even care about what happens with this move. I mean, I'm at this point we're doing mental exercises. We took the trade. It was a great trade. It's over 55 points. At the low. Those are home runs for me. I don't trade much larger than that. But anyway, back to explanation time. We knew that these lows were kind of bullshit. All right. Then what do we do? Let me get YM out of this mess. Who cares about YM? Then we start, looking for confluence. What do we have? 3-minute invert, right? We're holding. We come back up. I'm looking at the 5-minute as well. Like, doesn't want to enter into there. I recognize that it doesn't have to enter into there because ES already took that respective high. So if NQ wants to leave that gap alone, I'm not going to totally cry about it. Would I prefer to go in? Of course, because then logically it's a lot. It makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? I'm more like, all right, no problem. I can get into that. I can take the short knowing that because look, there's always a chance that it's going to want to run into the imbalance because that's what price does. We're always trying to fix imbalance or inefficiency or whatever, especially in these lower time frames. I'll get into that another time. But anyway, so we get the confluence. Do you not find it interesting that the absolute low, okay, during London lunch was the that propelled our move forward. This was the low. This is the SMT. So this is the pivot. Okay, is it not interesting to you that we come up and deck that low, literally the new 15-minute target? Okay, so same time frame, new not target, 15-minute candle comes up, pegs that low, and then immediately flushes. Come on, that's a short. You got to take it. Can it go up? Yeah. But guess what? That's narrative. That's if you're trading narrative and draw, this is how you operate. So it's a great trade, man. I got no qualms with that. Could I add it? Could I have added? Of course. Did I want to? Hell yeah. I wanted to smash that button. I wanted to get on 10 minis. But I'm not going to because I've already avoided death today. I'm happy enough to again, these are all mental joggers. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's good to just call a trade, and be involved a little bit. That's fine. $20, $23. So we're actually net even. We're down like 25 in the other account. So we're net even on the day between the two accounts. Funny, 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 man. So ES still hasn't gone into the midpoint of its regular trading hours gap, which I think is super interesting. That I don't really understand. I don't know if I really want to mess with it. But maybe we get a 345 flush. That's like a possibility to me. Maybe 345 flush into the midpoint into these equal lows. It's not gonna do that, or it's gonna rip to the upside and clear out these highs. I'd rather get the flush over with though. I mean, like if we're gonna move higher this week, we have to retrace. You know what I mean? Like today needs to kind of clean up the downside. Like we have to retrace today, so that way tomorrow it could be Thursday continuation. Wednesday retracement, Thursday continuation, Friday continuation into thank God it's Friday at the close. That's the whole narrative here that I'm kind of would like to buy. And by buy, not like go long or short, but like buy as in believe. I think it is a short, to be honest with you. I'll wait for the candle to form, but it makes sense. That logic is playing out. 5 minutes pretty clean. Came up to that the little gap in the 5-minute candles, which I could also point out for you. Check this out. This is something that I'm sure not many people are looking at or show you. Look at the difference between this open or this close and this open. It's minuscule, but it matters. Boom. Rebalance that gap, because that's a gap, right? Volume imbalances are gaps. It's just a candle gap up from the open to close. They're not perfectly, even like this. This candle's closed as this candle's open. Little gap here, like, you know what I mean? It's something you could look at. And if you go on a 15-second chart, guarantee you probably bodies are respecting that. But on MNQ, I don't think that gap exists. Does it? It does. And it actually stops stone cold at it. So there's discrepancy, but what else is new with these damn contracts? But whenever you see something rebalance to the open, it's typically because of that. Or so I think. What the hell do I know? They're not my concepts. I just can look at them and try to piece things together. There's 5 people in here. That's cool. What's up, everybody? I mean, Tim and Luca, I know you guys. How about the other 3? Who's lurking around? What's up? What's up? What's up? Tim, I crushed back today, dude. I was tired, but I did it. I was moving heavy. Told the Discord too, because they obviously know how pissed off I am. What else, man? Oh, that short Tim is doing some pretty decent numbers. I think it's like over 200 views. So thank you for clipping that. I had to remake a short out of it though, because YouTube Shorts is so annoying with the I think the title. I think I needed to sleep. Should have joined you, but glad I rested. No, you're right. I mean, that was me yesterday. I should have went yesterday, but I was so drained from the stream that I was like, dude, I have to, like, I'm gonna run myself down if I don't, like, just chill today. And back days, heavy days. If it was leg, any day really. I mean, I didn't really care. I was just, I couldn't do it, man. I was too tired yesterday. I didn't eat too. Like, I didn't eat until 4 o'clock, so I was like, what am I gonna wait until 8 o'clock? Like, no shot. So yeah, last 15 minutes of the market here. Let's see if we want to puke the close. Just rebalance this volume imbalance. Went back up into that 5-minute gap. Yeah, look at that volume imbalance just kind of holding price up. ES above this 1-minute high, which is cool. So that's also S&T. So from here to here means for a reversal. Again, we're looking for ES and NQ to run down into these lows, or at least ES to run into its midpoint here. It's always a sketchy move when they just take the internal and start to wake up like that. It's never fun. But we do have change in state of delivery here. We might get a little frisky. If I can get a little weaker, stronger, stronger, weaker. Yeah. Why not try one there? See if the next 15-minute candle wants to cruise on lower. Kind of a large wick on both sides, actually. It's probably not a great idea. But I'm trying to be persistent with it. Maybe it wants to come up into this midpoint. If it comes into that midpoint, we'll reshort. But at this point, I'm giving this high a shot. This is like the change in state of delivery. This is the change in state of delivery. It should be respected. If it's not, I'm just caught in some crappy action. Like, what else is new for today? Like I said, so far the 15-minute candles wick are a little larger than my liking, and definitely sussed out by the I think I'm gonna get stopped out here. The more I look at these tweezer tops, I think I'm screwed. So I may even venture to reverse the position. It's kind of bold, but I rather, I think I'd rather just get stopped out if I'm gonna get stopped out and just let it take up to here. Yeah. Because if it takes those tweezers, it might just immediately reverse back down. And if that's the case, then cool. Yeah. If I would have reversed, it probably would have been a rough fill, first of all. I would have been filled probably somewhere up here just to go a couple ticks up, and for it to move back down, it's not really worth it. Not really worth it. Kind of wait for it to see if it wants to come up and touch that. If not, if it starts to drown down, then I'll just take that entry. Okay, so there it goes at that old EQ on the 15. I'd like to get a look at what that's like here on the 15-minute chart, see how it's interacting with it, because that's important to me as well. Actually, I have a lot of SMT with MQ on these lows. Wow. 350 spikes it up into the fair value gap. Am I a believer of that move? I don't think I am. I'd love the wick to load. Yeah, thank you. I think I'm shorting that. This is some cowboy shit. This is like, excuse my language, but that's like the a bit of a, let's not say the gamble word, but a bit of a gamble. Shorting that 350 algo spike to the upside. If I get rinsed, I get rinsed, but I'm kind of like just very, like it's a very awkward place for ES to run around or to turn around here before the midpoint of that gap. Like, that's very weird to me. Like, I think that's, manipulation. Into that 15-minute gap. That's how I'm feeling about it. Kind of wish I got off a better entry, but like within that gap, that would be a lot more comfortable because I feel like I'm gonna have to eat the action in and around there. So I move back into that 3-minute. Let's see if it wants to reclaim it as an invert. This is technically a breaker on the 3. Again, narrative kind of says that I should be on side here. The only thing that's against my narrative is the SMT between the Dow and all the indexes on the lows, but again, you'll know that I don't really care too much about that. This hour does need to close below this low for us to be like a change in state to go lower. See the trade's starting to work in our favor, which is nice. Now it's reversing, which is not as nice. You have the breaker here. This is like your unicorn setup. I don't trade much of them, but they exist. Let's just throw a stop in way above, just in case we get spiked to the high heavens again. Would hate to see that. But I'm kind of, yeah, I don't hate the setup. I really don't. I don't hate it. Broader change in state deliveries right here. There's not a whole lot in like imbalanced land that makes me feel like it needs to move higher either. It's just the fact that there's not a whole lot of time left in the market. Typically, I'd be hammering more entries into here just to like move my average around, but let's look at what the hourly looks like. Yeah, you know, that's a pretty big hourly wick. That is a pretty big hourly wick. That is a lot of SMT on the downside. I don't know, man. I just feel like that 350 move was kind of suspect. Right into that 15-minute gap. Question is like, was that our chance to get out? Don't like that. That's flow coming in, bullish flow. See how that candle wicked up? Somebody hitting a bunch of asks. Somebody bidding up the price. Wow, are we gonna get rinsed? Are we gonna get rinsed? Am I getting rinsed on live for 5 people? We have like almost little to no viewers here. Uh-oh. Comes down, touches that 15-minute. This is the original 5-minute change in state delivery here off the, how do we close? That's the new 5-minute candle. Dump it down. These are very, very low resistance. These are equal. It's probably, ES is probably going to want to come up and take these highs here. I could be caught off sides in a big way. $15-minute, so this is the open. So what's interesting about this one is, so this is the open of the order block on the 15-minute for bearish change in state. Here's the open of the bullish change in state. I mean, that's a toughie. How about that one? So we are in the middle of like legitimately no man's land. And I think if I had to bet, ES is probably going to want to take those equal highs on those like sub time frame structures. Where are we at? I don't like how we're look how we're hanging around that area, that 5-minute original bullish order block. $30 do we enter into it? Okay, it's going to run at least into this gap, and then we're going to have to really pay attention to how we react in that gap. Is it 357? It's going to be time to close out this trade. We're going to take it out for even there. Sus. Not enough time left in the market. I was thinking that it was going to run way back down. If it does now, cool. But if not, I think that was a blessing right there because ES really, I don't know. I mean, it could leave it just because I'm bullish for the rest of the week. Not because I'm bullish, but if the action's going to be bullish for the rest of the week, there's no real point for ES to run up and take that high now. It can just leave those highs alone. So that's engineered liquidity. I think we just got really lucky, though, with being able to get out of that trade. Unless it absolutely pukes the close, in which I will be sick to my stomach. But it's a hell of a lot better than getting rinsed for 125. I think it's not the right time. Or maybe it does nothing about what I'm saying and it just stays here, in which way I would lose either way too. So kind of got to pick and choose. Also, why I did take off the trade there, if you look to the left, or you can't look to the left, but I was looking to the left. Look at that. That's that old 5-minute fair value gap. So we reacted out of that. And, you know, yeah, yes, did get shoved at the quarter point of its regular trading hours gap. And NQ is in the 15. I just don't think there's enough time in the day for it to do what I want it to do. And you can see how ES is still barreling pretty strong, not entering into this gap. So it may want to run up to take up these little equals, right? So breakaway, SMT between NQ and ES. If that's the narrative, you know, that's how it's working to the upside. So we aborted that. It was an easy one to abort out of. I was ready to cut it sooner. I was just, you know, we got lucky with it coming back and giving me another shot. I do like how it's using that 15-minute now. See how it's using that 15-minute open of that bearish order block as resistance on these micro time frames with the 15-minute fair value gap. That's cool, but there's not enough time in the day for me to really care to do anything. If it pukes to the close, that's fine. I was more so looking for a 350 to kind of be the instant rug pull. I was looking for us to come up here and then instantly dump down. The fact that we kind of made another jump up was what it was. Definitely shook me out of the trade. So now it's 4, markets are closed. Yeah, decent read. I'm happy with what I did there. No point in last 3 minutes of the day taking a $100 heater to lose on. So yeah, that was cool. See if we get any follow through here. Markets remaining heavy. And again, we are looking for ES to run into its regular trading hours EQ. I do find it unsettling, the fact that we didn't. I guess technically, well, you know, you do have London, you do have Asia. Oh, that's gross. Did I see that? You know, that's the problem here, okay, with these damn charts not working. I'm still in short. Oh, nice, dude. You know, that's the problem with these discrepancies. Like, had I been paying attention to the 1 minute here, I mean, that's an easy entry. Crushes that CE of that 15-minute fair value gap, and we have to draw lower. That one I probably would have gotten in. I would have gotten hip with, but whatever. That's okay. Yeah, I hear you. The model doesn't lie. You almost made me second guess my short today, dude. But I'm glad I stuck to my guns. With that long call, I was like, Luca, you gotta like not right now, bro. I was like, this is not a good time to tell a man that your model's long when he's in drawdown 758 and has 300 floating P&L. I'm just not sure where to take profits right now. I mean, so look at these charts. So see how we've just rejected the 3/4 point of NQ's regular trading hours gap. I would move your stop right above that high. And if you get stopped out, it sucks. But I think that's a good invalidation point. I was pre-eating the model earlier. What? Oh, pre-eating? Like you mean like it was a little too early, like before it gave the signal. And by the way, like I'm not upset about that. Like I know you mean well. Like I know you're not trying to get in my head. I wasn't upset about it, put it that way. Like, you know, I know you're cool. I know you weren't trying to mess with my head. Preempting. Oh, preempting. Yeah. Yeah, look, you know, sometimes it's smart. Sometimes it's a good move. Where are you positioned right now? Did you get short when I got short in that 350 spike? Also, keep in mind you only have until 410 with Topstepx anyway. So at some point you have to also reason, do I think it's going to go higher or lower in the next 10 minutes regardless, or 7 actually. If you think it's going to retrace for the next 3 or 4 minutes, it's probably best to take out your trade right now, unless you think it's going to just speed up here, which I think, like, look, I'm sure you're using small size because, yeah, the 15-minute gap, but I took one on ES 5410. Yeah, so I, was there a 15-minute gap on ES? I'm sorry, I wasn't even looking at it. No, not really. So you just kind of used NQ for ES, which I can respect. That's what I like to do. So you can see NQ starting to draw a little bit lower, right? And ES is making those equals. That would be a red flag for me. Like in the short term, right? But like again, the decision is, but like, do I believe price is going to move lower meaningfully in the next 6.5 minutes or not? If not, it's best to take your couple bucks and be done, or move the stop to even and gamble it. Not gamble, but gamble with the timing aspect. Obviously, it made sense to enter short at the time. What I'm saying by gamble is like it's not going to change your life. This one contract, this little micro is not going to change your life. So if you want to see it through to the lows, then just see it through to the lows. But I definitely wouldn't recommend losing on the contract. Put it that way. So you move the stop to break even, and you let this one ride. But if you want to take the profits, like if it's going to bother you that you're up money here, it's really about whatever's going to keep your, it could shit the bed. What's the chances of not taking the new day opening gap at this point? Yeah. Well, as much as it sucks, it may shit the bed at 415. And if it shits the bed at 415, it's just as, what I'm saying, it's just as good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so look, this is what I would be. So see how ES is looking to fix the divergence here on the lows with NQ? See how it kind of went down? If ES takes out this low, I would give it a shot. But like that's how I'm looking at it, right? Like clearly NQ has diverged on those little 1-minute swings. And if I was long NQ, my stop would be above that swing high. Really what you would need to bring you down, Luca, at this point, because volatility's dried up, the market's not just going to run down, is some sort of earnings release. And most of the earnings releases come 415, 410, and with Topstep, you're kind of shot. You know what I mean? Like you can't get involved with that sort of move. I think the one thing I can tell you for sure is that you definitely shouldn't take a loss on this trade. You should definitely have your stop at even. And you also let's also weigh the possibility that this could gap up on some sort of bullshit earnings. So you want to be careful with that too. So like no point in taking a gap up loss, right? I mean, Topstep's going to auto liquidate you. Yeah, just close for 50 bucks. Smart. And if it pukes now, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's literally time of day is not on your side, and that's the one time you'll hear me kind of say that because time is very difficult to. Now it's going to shit the bed. Yeah, welcome to my world. I just wanted you to feel my pain. No, I'm kidding. I hope it doesn't for your sake. I really do think it's going to shit around for the next 2.5 minutes, and it's not going to be anything meaningful to you. I think it was the right call. Like I said, the only thing that's going to make it crash down into there is an earnings report, and I don't know if that's going to come out in the next 2.5 minutes to like help you here. I think you made the right call. And again, there was also a risk that it can crush to the upside. I felt your pain earlier. I really did. I've been there so many times. Yeah, it was rough. It was frustrating because I was trading well. Like if I look, I'm gonna rewatch again, but I knew I was taking good trades. Like it's not even like I was taking bad trades, man. I was taking really quality trades. Top ticked that one short earlier and just added aggressively because in my mind it should like any other day. I mean, we're gonna run into that regular trading hour gap, and it's going to be, you know, a good trade. How about the long too? Okay, so I was like, you know, had a great premise on the long with the breakaway gap on that 15-second chart for NQ to run up and take this high out. Okay, that was here. We can run back to it just on the 15-second to relive our pain. Like there was 1,000,010 times, dude, that I was calling the market fresh. Okay, this was a great trade. Should have went up. We get dunked on. Okay, fine. Not going to be so pissed off about that, even though I was pretty upset about it. So that was one of them. So that long trade. The short was, you know, it was what it was. We waited for the confirmation if it was going to leave that, if it was going to retrace lower. I could have been on sides. Like what's annoying is the fact that we didn't make this move down here. Because I was positioned short here for the invert of this level, you know, risk above here. We got stopped out, was what it was. Then took the long with a sound idea for this to be a breakaway, and it was totally acting like it should have taken this high. Didn't. Comes down. Then we took another short here to move into this low. Very promising. Am I not correct? Unfortunately, didn't get there. Like, you know, we get stopped out again for a larger loss. I think I got gapped here. Like I got slipped here. So IBM earnings just came out. Luca also good idea to close that short on ES. So this was annoying because this was another great trade. I mean, my first entry limit was dead, like top ticked, okay? And it immediately worked in our favor. That's, you know, we add in, and then as it was rejecting the midpoint of the new week opening gap, we add more because that's what we expect to kind of take us down. When you pair this with the change in state of delivery, we get mushed. All right. Runs up, we're in a short again. I'm forced to take profits here because I believe with the SMT here and the way that the microstructure was handling, like this was super annoying. With ES, right? So ES made all these equals here after the SMT. So microstructure, you think that this is now a long. I got stopped out there. Like it was just, man, it was just annoying. So didn't take this short. Again, I would have taken this short if ES had taken these highs. It didn't, so it was just hard to get on side. Wicked out here, stopped out here before this dump down. Then we get wicked out because I re-enter into the short. Like honestly, it was the craziest P&L day, dude, I've ever had for being right on almost every trade. That was the craziest thing in my life. I've never been right so many times directionally and then have drawn down that fat. That was nuts. That was, I mean, dude, I literally was ready to lose my brain. I couldn't believe it. The past 2 weeks, my model's not been doing half as frequent as it used to. Do you know why this could be? I think it's an algo / market maker model. No, I think, dude, listen, I don't know what your model is. I know you said you use an indicator. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You'll have to explain your model a little bit more in depth, and I can maybe give you a better answer. But for now, the simplest answer is one, earnings season tends to have terrible price action. More so in the afternoon, but it could be in the morning if it's a large, you know, company like Google, Tesla, Microsoft, Snapchat, Meta, like, you know what I mean, like larger, like if it's one of the Nvidia, you know what I mean, if it's one of these larger tech companies, you're going to get kind of crappier action because there's a lot of indecision, there's a lot of positioning on both ends of the market to kind of get ready because these companies make up for large swings in the market, right? So you know, it's always going to be difficult to trade in that environment. Second off, you know, just in general, like there's a lot of what ICT would coin manual intervention. And that is like, you know, when someone's stepping in and ripping up like that type of like headline drivers, those algorithms, like with the tariff news and whatever. I mean, this is not just price action anymore. Like there's narrative based here. So all the new information that comes out from a fundamental perspective changes how people use their algorithms. And that's why you get these crazy spikes and everything. So I think that's part of the reason why your model's not doing the same. And then also, if you're not trading ICT concepts, which I believe are just generally how the market moves. I think what he did was he created a framework to explain why candles print the way they do, where they try to reach for, et cetera, et cetera. If you're trading some sort of mechanical model, sometimes the market just changes. Like, models will present and sometimes they don't. So I know you trade ICT concepts, but like, what is your, like, what exactly do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess it's all this, I don't know. You said that you use an indicator. I think it was the first day. So like, does that have anything to do with it? Because indicators can get hot and cold at different times in the markets. Like when I was trading with indicators years ago, I traded with a simple momentum indicator. It was like homemade. It was just EMAs with SMAs. But basically what that did was it was a short-term momentum indicator. When the exponentially weighted averages of prices started to outpace the simple weighted averages of prices, that was a clear like, oh, we're moving down with some velocity. Maybe you should get short. Or we're moving up with some velocity. Maybe you should get long. So but that would get kind of hot and cold. Not an indicator, just a confluence that I discovered myself. I just name it PPI. You might want to change the name because PPI is a huge news release. But it's your concepts, your life. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Okay, so that's just like a confluence that you see. So that you see a pattern, or what I would refer to as a cue. Okay, and it gives you some sort of confidence to do something, right? And I guess for you, what is that, like a sweep of a low? You'll have to explain it to me sometime. But I don't know, man. Look, there's really no great answer to why models stop working or why price is, acting like crap. The only thing I can give you is like what I have from my own experience, and that's when there is, there are, changes in market events like earnings season. Like that, I know for a fact is a pain to trade, at least the afternoon session. Okay, sometimes the morning session. Rollover, contract rollover, always a pain because people are moving positions. There's also, I think it's also a pain just because you also have the charts out of sync. So from one contract month to the next, certain highs, and like everything we do right is based off of highs and lows. So if those highs and lows are not in the same spot, okay, and different contractors are not taking the same highs and lows, it makes it very difficult to navigate what's real and what's fake. Okay, that was the same sort of problem today with how MNQ and NQ are not directly locked in lockstep when it comes to the new week opening gap, and because if one is touching the top of one and the other's not, that's very meaningful for like what I do. So that's a pain. So basically, my model is a PPI plus sweep of the PPI plus break of structure in the opposite direction plus retrace to the last 1 minute within discount of 5-minute equilibrium. Okay, I think I understood what you said. I don't really know the PPI part. Sweep of the PPI. So a sweep of a low plus a break of structure in the opposite direction. Then a retrace to the last 1 minute fair value gap. So you're looking at the absolute extremes of the move, which could also technically be the order block, the last 1 minute order block, within discount of a 5-minute range. So you're trading the smaller structure within a 5-minute range, within a larger structure, within discount of a larger range. And then I'm assuming you're just taking the next high, or maybe you're looking for it to go into OTE of the positive side of the 5-minute range, or the high of the 5-minute range. Maybe you're trying to target the opposing high. Is that sort of where we're at here? Sorry, I'm shuffling these chips, man. I can't stop. I know it's a little bit annoying for you. I'll use the quieter ones. So there goes NQ, running back up to the high. PPI is basically a delay in side by side candle's basically a dodgy 5-minute SMT. I'd have to see. I'd have to. You'd have to mark it out on a chart for me to really understand it. And I TP half at 1 to 2 and 5 at the 5-minute swing left. Okay, yeah. So you're trading opposing liquidity and then just a reasonable point target, which I'm all with. I'm always kind of aiming for a reasonable point target. I try not to get too infatuated with being all the way correct in my targeting. Like today, if I wasn't in crazy drawdown, I probably would have taken that trade off a million times at 300, 400, 500, whatever. Instead, I held for the full 70 points just because I felt like I had to. And technically, there was no reason to take it off. Like, there was no technical reason where I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. I need to take risk off. Then I leave a runner to my high turn frame DOL. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, you'll have to send me some like in the Discord, like send out some marked out examples, and I'll probably have a better idea of what you're talking about. With like like a detailed markup. I know you've sent some execution stuff, but label what the PPI is and whatnot. I mean, I understand everything else, but that's about it. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here, man. If you want to keep talking, I'll have Discord up in the background. I gotta eat. I have to shower. I just got back from the gym. I just wanted to get on here and see if anybody wanted to hang out. Thank you to everybody that came out and watched. Yeah, took a couple little trades on the kick around account, and yeah, if you guys want to see the craziest how somebody could be so right and so wrong at the same time, watch today's stream. You'll have a great time. It's like, I think the first time I've ever actually crashed out on stream and like lost my marbles a little bit. But I'm gonna clean up these charts and I'm gonna go and eat something. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Luca, thanks for coming and hanging out, man. It's great talking to you again. See you guys later. Yeah, we did do well, man. We did do well in the awful PA. Surprisingly, we did good. All right, see you.